This is Stephanie Hardy for Women's Wrestling Talk, and I am standing here with the iconic, the legendary, visionary into NWA EmPowerrr, Mickie James. How are you, ma'am?
So good, Stephanie. Thank you so much. Yeah. I feel good. I feel really good.
Like, you have to feel good. Like, you are like the visionary behind this entire event that happened last night, and it was so awesome.
You're so sweet. Thank you. Yes, it was a vision, and it was but I could not have done it without my girls, my team, my Queens of the Round Table, Medusa, Jazz, and Gail Kim. They really helped me take the lead on this, and last night, every single girl that went out there, they just delivered and delivered and delivered above, I think, everyone's expectations. And then the crowd came through, and it was just like everyone ran down the board. And then to see my friends write about it and tweet about it when they didn't have to, it was pretty awesome. It was just an awesome night for wrestling, and not just women's wrestling, but just wrestling as a whole. So.
Yes, you mentioned working with your Queens of the Round Table in Medusa and Jazz and Gail Kim. Like, how important was it to have those types of women working behind the scenes for an event such as this?
For me, it was imperative. You know, I think about each one of their careers separately in different times, different companies, and different generations, and they all have made so much history and broke down so many barriers in their own right at different times. And it just showed that evolution of where women's wrestling was going. And I think that in the locker room, to have those women in the conversations with the girls that were going out there that night was important, because the respect that was shown across the board and the love and just the energy around the whole night. It was just so female focused, and it was a show, you know, not just for women, but it was for women by women. And there were so many little girls out in the crowd that were just, you could see, like, and I was the little girl at home watching on the television saying, Daddy, I want to be a professional wrestler one day, like trying to beat them up in commercial breaks. But it's like to see them acknowledged and to be able to see the reality of how possible that is for them, you know, was amazing. To see little boys in the crowd, you know, going like, and being excited on their feet and standing in their chairs for women's wrestling. It was just cool. It was a really, really cool night, and it just showed, you know, how capable we really are and how equal we really are.
Yes, and I can say from a personal experience, it meant the world to me as someone who has been watching women's wrestling since I was about maybe 4 years old. You know, just to see stuff like that happen and to see it evolve, the inner child in me was grateful for that moment.
Yay.
Yeah, I was just really happy. So in terms of a favorite moment, would you say you had one, or did you just love the whole event as like period?
The whole event was so good, but I don't think anything can top the Austin Kong and Gail Kim moment. That was electric. The roof, I actually called them and said, you might want to reinforce the rafters. I'm telling you, like, there was like this weird, like, when her music first hit, and plus it's been a minute since we've heard that awesome Kong music from Impact, but when her music first hit, there was this weird, like, deafening silence that happened. It was almost like a gasp of like, like, that no way, this is not what I think it is. And then the second beat hit, and they were just like, eruption, a freaking eruption. And then you talk about the business, and they went down, and like, it was so great to have that on the show. But then what was more important, it was like we heard Kong speak for the first time, and to have, you know, that moment for her and Gail, the amount of work they put in for the women's division. And I think it was a lot of their work that then started to turn the tides, where people started to put respect on women's wrestling in a new capacity. And Kong was somebody who was so different than everyone else, you know, and it was awesome. And it was awesome. It was just so, so awesome. And I really want a whole bunch of ice cream bars. So if anybody could truckload those in for me now, that would be great. And that's about it.
Well, you did mention, you know, how Kong was different in terms of, you know, the representation of different women of color, and women of a different size. Like, how important was it for you to showcase that with the women of today?
Oh, it was a very deciding factor, I think. I wanted to not only showcase, obviously, our women here in the NWA, I wanted to showcase the women of other companies and other matches, and perhaps have some dream matches that they wouldn't have necessarily had on their show. But I think that I looked at it as a way to start to try to build stars for the NWA and women that we could keep around in the NWA locker room. We have tag championships now. We have new tag team champions that we're going to need tag teams out there. We're going to need, and then I just feel like I honestly said, I was like, it's not just about showcasing women that you've seen and that you've seen everywhere, but about making new stars. And I believe in my heart, we made some new stars out there. We made, not just in the tag division with the Hell on Heels and with the Free Babes, but Tootie Lynn last night was remarkable. Masha, for me, killed it, like so different. And every single woman in the cup, I felt like was so different, so dynamic, and from such different backgrounds, from Debbie Malenko, who's 50 years old and just stretching everybody, and Jamie Senegal, who, like, her dad was there because in the front row, and because she never thought that would be possible for her, and to be able to provide. I always say, like, sometimes it just takes one person to believe in you and give you that opportunity, and not one female last night let me down. They all killed it, and I'm just so proud. I'm so proud.
And in speaking about the talent from last night, you had the Impact Women's Champion, Deonna Perez, in a stellar match against Melina Perez. And she is someone that you have had words with, for the last couple of weeks.
I've had some words with her.
Right. Like, do you
I
have...
called her an ungrateful witch. See, I said witch. I said witch. I didn't say witch, though. She's a little bit ungrateful, I think. But I have to say it. She is a champion of champions, and I was pulling for my girl Melina, not just because I think Deonna has a little bit of a bad attitude, but I felt like it would have been amazing to see the Knockouts Championship on Melina. It was her first time going for the champ, and I knew that she was going to give Deonna a run for her money. I had no doubt that there was a possibility, and I was hoping for that possibility of Melina taking that championship from her. But I will say when I say, was there a match of the night, I'm like, every match was so good. Yes. It was, but that story and that, like, I was crying for Melina because I could see her fight and see her not wanting to quit, and it was like, and I know what it's like to come back from an ACL injury. I know what that feels like. And even me, where I'm going, like, it's such a game changer. And she reminded everyone what how impactful and, our crop of girls, because I was in that locker room of what we're truly capable of, and how important it was, and how the fans never forget. They don't forget, so.
Yes, I know definitely. It was an honor for me to see Melina fight again, because I grew up watching her and just tear it up for years. So just to be able to see you, lead this event, and then to see her, participate in the event as a competitor meant the world to me. Yeah. So what would you say the future holds for women's wrestling?
Oh, God, the future looks so bright. I honestly believe it took, and I knew it was going to take this coming off as a massive success. Not just for our company and for everybody, but I feel like this is just the first of a lot of things to come. Like, this is just the beginning. But I honestly believe that across the board, every company is looking at their women with a whole new set of eyes. After last night, it was just like that validation of saying, yes. It's not just that whole we have arrived, because we have arrived. We've been here, but we have arrived. But, like, we deserve the respect that we've earned it, and last night showed that the fans and the people and our colleagues are all clapping for us, and that was pretty magical. So, yeah.
Well, Mickie James, thank you so much for sharing your time with us here on Women's Wrestling Talk again. Yes. And it's just been an honor to see you grow and to see you reach this point of becoming a leader in the women's division. You are the reason why women's wrestling is where it is. you are one of the main reasons.
Well, I don't know about that. There's a lot of women that had put in a lot of work before me to get here. So
Definitely.
I think that it's just been generations and generations. And now, these women today are getting opportunities that a lot of women never got. And I just hope that they just take and make the most out of them. So I'm grateful for that.
Thank you so much for your time, ma'am, and just thank you for everything that you have done for women's wrestling and just for wrestling as a whole. Okay. You deserve to celebrate and have your moment and bask in the glow, okay? Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Aww. Wrestling.
Yay!